This gun shop owner had been running his mouth for years, treating customers like dirt, especially older guys he thought were useless. But when he humiliated the wrong veteran in front of a packed store, he triggered something unstoppable. Because this wasn't just any old man. This was a SEAL commander who'd earned every Brotherhood bond through blood. Hey everyone, welcome back to Time Awakened. Before we dive into this incredible story, I gotta ask, drop a comment and tell me what city you're watching from right now. Seriously, I love seeing our global community come together. And if you think stories like this deserve to be heard, smash that subscribe button and help us honor the people who should never be forgotten. Riverside County, California, a small town away from the big city noise, the kind of place where everybody knows everybody. On Main Street sat Duke's Gun and Tactical, the town's only gun store. Owner Brad Duke Morrison, 45 years old, beer gut, big mouth, and zero self-awareness. Duke's shop was the town's unofficial meeting place. Hunters, collectors, security personnel, they all came through here. But Duke didn't treat every customer the same way. Rich customers got yes sir, absolutely sir. Middle-class folks got normal treatment, and elderly veterans, well, that's where the problem started. To Duke, elderly veterans were just has-beens. Maybe they'd done something once upon a time, but now they were just storytellers who didn't spend money and wasted his time. And Duke couldn't be bothered to hide his contempt. But this Tuesday afternoon, Duke was about to make the biggest mistake of his life. At 2:30 p.m., the door opened and an elderly man walked in. Frank "Pops" Richardson, 68 years old, medium height, gray hair, modest clothes. A worn polo shirt, faded jeans, comfortable shoes, typical retiree appearance. Frank took a few seconds to survey the store. But this wasn't the casual glance of an ordinary customer. His eyes moved systematically. Exits, security cameras, weapon positions, other customers. An automatic assessment, the result of decades of training. Duke saw Frank and immediately thought, another old storyteller. Hello, Frank approached politely. I wonder if I could ask you a few questions. Duke didn't look up from his inventory list. About what? Tactical equipment, specifically for field conditions. Duke laughed, that typical mocking laugh. Field conditions? What field, Grandpa? Going hunting? Frank took a deep breath. He'd been dealing with this for 45 years. Civilian life where nobody cared about your past, where your experience was devalued. But today was different. Today he was too old to be patient. I served 32 years in the Navy, 24 of those in SEAL teams. Duke's laughter got even louder. SEAL! Ha ha! Sure, you're a SEAL too. You know how many former SEALs come in here? Every old guy thinks he's Rambo. The other customers were starting to feel uncomfortable. One of the young men looked at Duke. Maybe you should listen to the man. No, Duke waved his hand. You don't know these old guys. They watch a few war movies, then think they're war heroes. SEAL? Give me a break. Frank's jaw tightened, but his voice stayed calm. I can show you my ID. ID? Ha! You probably printed it off the internet. Listen to me, Grandpa. Duke positioned himself in front of Frank, belly to belly. I've been in this business 20 years. I know real SEALs. You're just an old man telling stories. The tension in the store was rising. The elderly couple moved away from their display. The young men were watching the situation unfold. Everyone could feel Duke had crossed a line. Frank pulled out his wallet, took out a worn card. This is my... Duke snatched the card from Frank's hand, tore it up without looking. I don't want your fake papers. Get out of here. This is a serious business, not a senior center. Right then, something changed in Frank's eyes. 45 years of patience had run out, not just for his own honor, but for every veteran who was daily disrespected, devalued, forgotten. Frank took one step forward, just one step, but that step carried 32 years of experience. Duke instinctively backed away. He'd sensed the danger. Duke? Frank's voice was low, but so powerful that everyone in the store heard it. You're making a big mistake. Are you threatening me? I'll call security. I'm not threatening. I'm just telling you the truth. Frank pulled out his phone. But others will know the truth too. Duke laughed. Who you gonna call? The police? You gonna lie to them too? Frank dialed a number. Mike? Frank here. I'm at Duke's gun shop. Yes, that Duke. Just now. Yes, exactly like that. Duke crossed. Frank continued, his his voice still calm but now filled with authority. "I'm Commander Frank Richardson, retired. Navy SEAL Teams 2, 4, and 6, 24 years total service. 2 tours in Vietnam, Cold War operations, Desert Storm, Panama, Grenada, and places you couldn't even imagine." The silence in the store was sharp as a knife. Duke's face had gone pale. 2 Purple Hearts, Silver Star, Navy Cross, and most importantly, Frank opened his shirt collar, revealing a small but distinct scar on his neck. This souvenir from Mogadishu, Black Hawk Down operation, rescuing downed helicopter pilots. One of the young men held his breath. "Holy shit, are you for real?" Frank looked at him. "Unfortunately, yes, son, and right now I'm a very angry real one." Duke started backing away. I didn't know, you didn't know?" Frank's voice was now a commander's voice. "You should have known, Duke, because a real SEAL never brags about himself. He only shows who he is when necessary." Right then, the store phone rang. Duke answered with shaking hands. "Duke's gun shop. Duke Morrison?" The voice on the other end was official and authoritative. Yes? This is Lieutenant Commander Johnson, Naval Special Warfare Command. We'll be at your store within the hour. Is Commander Richardson there?" Duke looked at Frank, held out the phone. Frank took it. "Johnson? Frank here. Yes, I'm here. The situation is exactly as Mike described." A brief silence. "Understood. See you soon." He hung up, looked at Duke. "They'll be here within the hour." "Who?" Duke's voice was cracking. "A team from SEAL Team 5. My son Mike with them, and I think a few old friends are coming too. Word spreads fast in the SEAL community, Duke." The next hour was the longest of Duke's life. Frank calmly waited in the store, examining the weapons in the displays, but this time with an expert's eye. He murmured about each weapon's specifications, applications, advantages and disadvantages. The other customers had left, but a crowd was gathering outside. Word had spread through the town. There was a Navy SEAL commander at Duke's gun shop, and Duke had disrespected him. Duke paced behind the counter, wringing his hands, constantly looking out the window. Maybe there was a misunderstanding. I was just... Duke, Frank spoke without looking up. There was no... Duke nodded. I'll do everything. Mike pulled out a card. This is my card. If any veteran in this town gets disrespected again, I'll hear about it, and then I'll come back. But next time I won't be this polite. 6 months later, Duke's Gun and Tactical was completely transformed. A large veteran-owned and veteran-friendly sign hung at the entrance. Inside, a special Heroes Hall section had been created. Photos, medals, and stories of the town's veterans. Duke had genuinely changed. He treated every veteran with respect, listened to their stories, offered free services, and his business had improved too. Veterans and their families had embraced the store. Frank came by once a week, chatting with Duke. It was no longer a customer-seller relationship, but teacher-student. "Commander," Duke asked one day, "why do you still come? Have you forgiven me?" Frank smiled. "Duke, I wasn't angry at you. I was just disappointed. And now I'm proud. You've shown how a man can change. But here's the real beauty of it. They didn't come to the store that day just to protect Frank. They came to send a message. SEALs never leave their brothers behind, and they don't tolerate disrespect. And now Duke's store is one of America's most veteran-friendly gun shops, because sometimes people need to learn a big lesson to change. You know what I told you. Respect gets respect, but disrespect gets consequences. And when you disrespect veterans, an entire brotherhood stands against you. Have you ever witnessed a moment like this? A situation where you intervened so someone got the respect they deserved? Write your stories in the comments, because here at Time Awakened, we honor veterans, their sacrifice, their courage, and their quiet service. These stories need to be heard, shared, and never forgotten. Don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to share. Semper Fi.